Hello everybody, and welcome into another video. I'm FranklinTurtz, and I'm your internet turtle. Oh my god, guys, can you believe it? We're doing another Warriors Den overview.
Fantabulous.
It's good to be back making another one of these. I always have a lot of fun making these for you guys. This time, we're going all the way into year 8. 8 years with For Honor is absolutely insane, so kudos to the devs for keeping this game chugging along quite nicely. The name of this year overall is Forged in Fire. Forged in War. And the actual first name of the season is The Sword of Ashfeld. Now, overall, with the way that they were talking about things and like a little bit of a spoiler into the stuff I'm going to be going into here in a little bit, the way that this is going to work is they're kind of focusing on the Warden or the Wardens for this first season, and then I believe, with the hero skin and whatnot, and then for the next seasons, they're going to be doing Samurai and Viking. And so if they're going to follow the same trajectory, they're probably going to be, naming them the Katana of whatever Samurai Nation and the Axe of whatever Viking Nation, you know what I mean? I think they're going to try to keep that kind of line going throughout the year. But I'm excited to get into it here. It's not the beefiest of Warriors Dens, not the craziest amount of content here, but there is some really good stuff that I did want to check out with you guys and show you guys and go into it a little deeper. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Alright, so the first thing we got here is like a general overview, general roadmap of what's going to be going on in year 8. You see, starting in Season 1, we're going to be having two Knight Hero skins, so that's pretty exciting. Season 2, we move on into the Samurais, and we're going to be getting a hero skin and a new hero. Season 3, the first title update 1, seems like nothing. It's blank. I don't know if they forgot to put an image in there or what, but who knows what's going on there. We're going to be getting a hero skin, and we're also going to be getting a new Halloween event. And in the final season for the year, we're going to be getting a new Wulin hero skin in Title Update 1, and then in Title Update 2, a brand new Outlander hero. Now, one of the first things I noticed here immediately is that, where's the Wulin? Where's the love for the Wulin? Where'd they go? Man, this is like some Dora Explorer shit. Do you see the Wulin? I'm not really sure why they just don't seem to really like the Wulin all that much. It feels like they really just get rejected a lot of the time. We haven't really had a new Wulin character in years now. We just had the Shaolin skin, and that's about the only content the Wulin have really, like, significant content that the Wulin have really had that I can even think of since they came in Marching Fire in that expansion. So it's kind of frustrating. The Wulin are cool. I don't know if it's, I'm putting on my straw man hat here a little bit and kind of theorizing here a little bit, but I don't know if it's because a lot of players just don't like fighting the Wulin, that they don't really release a lot of content or garner a lot of content towards that faction per se. I don't know if that's the reason, if it's because, a lot of them like tend to have different dodge attacks that can frustrate players and light spam, whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. It's just, it really sucks. These poor guys, they're really fun to play. I don't know. It's dumb. They then went into a little bit of the maps that they're going to be bringing in for Dominion. They're essentially Dominionizing a few different elimination style maps. The first one is one that a good 99% of the community ended up predicting. It's Cathedral. Yeah, makes sense. The Wyvern event, which, can you believe it? It was a whole year ago. Wait, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? Holy shit. 2 years ago, the Wyvern event was, in case you guys didn't play or in case you don't remember, basically it was a Dominion style game mode where you had these different capture points that you had to do, much like in Dominion, and you also had a bunch of wyverns, a bunch of dragons flying around basically, causing chaos and shit. It's pretty fun. So it makes sense to kind of retrofit using kind of that code and that way of getting into it to make that map work for Dominion. And then going off of that and going off of that mindset that they used for picking Cathedral, myself and a lot of my community were theorizing that the other map that they're saying they're going to be releasing down the road is probably going to be Cindermill, because way back several years ago they had a Halloween event called, it's like a Dead by Daylight style event. I forget what it was called exactly, but basically for that you also had other capture points, and I think it was like I think he was called the Trapper from Dead by Daylight. I think that was like the main guy, but he had like a Centurion moveset. But he was roaming around a bunch, so he was like a big bad, and that was kind of fun too. But just going off that same mindset, that same pathway of thinking, basically think that Cindermill is going to be that second map. They did mention, it takes them a while. They have to essentially, when they say they need to dominionize a map, they need to really dominionize a map. They got to put minions in there. They got to put the intro cinematics in there. They got to figure out where they're going to be putting these minions. They got to see, what different hazards they got to move around. Like obviously in Cathedral, they're probably going to turn off the geysers because that would be fucking broken if they ended up keeping the geysers on. You literally just one tap somebody basically. But it's nice to see, like, and I mentioned this in previous Warriors Den overviews, that like, yes, we wanted like brand new maps, brand new content, but I understand that if this is all they can really do, it's still something new-ish that they're bringing in Dominion, and it should be pretty interesting to see how they kind of execute these maps within Dominion. Alright, next up we got the real quick talk on the Legacy Pass that they're going to be bringing in, brand new Legacy Pass. Basically their idea with all of this is that they want to, first of all, reflect. So for example, this is going to be Year 8 Season 1, so they're going to be bringing in Year 4 Season 1 content for this Legacy Pass, and it's supposed to follow that same pattern. So for Season 2, it's going to be Year 4 Season 2 for the Legacy Pass, and so on and so forth for the year. I don't know if they're going to go back any further than this, or is this just the furthest that they have, in their files? I don't know. Maybe the files for Year 3 and before just went missing for some reason. Who knows? But the whole idea for this Legacy Pass is basically allowing people to, if they want to, if they choose to go and try to earn stuff that they maybe did not have a chance to earn. Maybe you weren't playing back then, or maybe you just, you weren't able to get online at certain moments and like max it out. They explained basically that whatever progress you had on that pass back then, you are going to retain that same progress. So if you, for example, got to like level, I don't know, 30 something, and then, something happened, you weren't able to play the game for a while, and you weren't able to grind out the rest of that battle pass, this is your chance to kind of go back and finish out that battle pass if you want certain things from that pass. They also did explain that if you were able to max it out back then, like the tryhards that we all are that do play this game religiously, you are going to be able to get to this new tier. I think it's called Tier 101 or something, where it's basically an extra level of progress. Even if you did beat it previously, you still have some things that you can earn if you want to get them. Following that, they told us that they are going to be increasing the rep cap. It was 70, it is now going to be 80. My theory, again, I like to theorize with this stuff. My theory with this is that I think that they're going to be doing this based on the different year. So right now it's going to be Year 8, so it's rep 80. I'm thinking, and partially maybe kind of hoping to a certain degree, that for Year 9 they're going to be increasing it to 90, and then Year 10 they'll do it, all the way to 100, and then maybe that's where they'll draw the line, because triple digits, I don't know if we want to go further than that, to be honest, but I don't even know what kind of rewards that they could even create past those reps at that point. But that's just a theory. A game theory. I miss you, Matt Pat. As far as the rewards for reaching rep 80, you are now going to be able to receive like a hot pink material, basically. I think it's called Wild Berry or something. And this will finally allow us to join the Mean Girls on Wednesdays. But yeah, this will be pretty cool. It'll allow me to essentially regrind and replay my 3 rep 70s, my Lawbringer, Highlander, and Shaolin, dearly beloveds. I'm excited to break them back out and actually start earning more progress back on them. So we then moved on to just a little bit more talk about nostalgia.
Go back to our roots, vintage For Honor. Nostalgia.
As you can see, this whole year, the whole overarching theme is kind of, taking out aspects of the past, bringing them to the present, nostalgia, all that kind of stuff. But to kind of herald all this, to kind of get this started off on a really high note, this new Warden hero skin is going to be coming out that they went into, called the Unsung Knight. Now, upon first glance to the untrained eye, it may look a little similar to a certain robotic officer of the law, but this is actually akin to a Silent Helm, which I'm not a history buff, but apparently a lot of people were excited about this, and it definitely looks really cool. It's neat how they're bringing in, people from the actual trailer all the way back from 2016, to actually be playable within the game. The skin overall, upon closer inspection, you know, it's a simplistic, more minimalist knight skin, especially like Warden skin. It's not like extravagant or anything like that. It's literally just kind of bare bones, but in like a classic, simplistic kind of way. And I myself and a lot of people do really enjoy these types of like simpler stylings, more dramatic stylings. Not everything has to be, you know, super fancy, moving aspects, fire on the stuff on their fire on their clothes. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, full on crazy max out your budget kind of look. It can be something simple like this. A lot of people do, lack of a better term, fuck with this. So I definitely think that it's going to be something that a lot of people want. A lot of people grind for. Sadly, they are still 25,000 steel, which I do think is still a bit too much. Maybe like 10,000. That would be nice. But you know, I can't really do much about that. Hopefully you're able to grind it, just like I am going to be able to grind it. I definitely do want this on Warden. I didn't get the Ramiel skin. I thought it was a little too much, and I didn't really play Warden a lot back then. But I think that this will definitely be something that I buy for my Warden. Oh my god, guys. I found more Wulin. Next, I talked about the new game mode and the new map that they had to create essentially for this specific game mode. Basically, they took the Canyon map, but they retrofitted and changed a whole bunch of the different dynamics and stuff within it to make it look just like the original trailer that I alluded to from back in 2016. The attention to detail here is awesome, and there's literally like nothing stopping you. Like, there's nothing in the middle that could stop you from throwing moves. It's literally just a barren wasteland with a tiny little puddle in the middle. And the whole idea of this game mode is that it's going to be a 1v1v1. In layman's terms, basically a free-for-all. Now, you and I both know that it's not always going to be a free-for-all. There are going to be those people out there that unfortunately will be 2v1ing you. You'll probably be 2v1ing a few people as well. It's just going to be the nature of the beast. I'm just going to fully embrace it for the chaos that it is. That's kind of how I stay sane with this game as well. I don't really let a lot of things get to me in this game because there is a lot of craziness that happens, whether it's in Dominion or it's in, you know, brawls, whatever have you. You have to embrace the chaos in order to, you know, not rip your hair out sometimes. And it's still a fun time. If you do end up winning this gauntlet, you do get this lovely little end screen here, and you get the little puddle as a reward as well, which is great because they really need the water. Next, we got the event pass and the season pass weapons and customizations, so all the emotes, weapon skins, stuff like that. One word that I could use to describe all the different weapons that we're going to be getting is silver, chrome.
All chromed out, well, not chromed, but all sealed out.
Everything is chrome in the future.
A lot of simple silvery weapons, different shields, different styling, stuff like that. No real gold, no real like ornamental stuff this time around. It's much more back to basics, which again, you know, is kind of the whole point of this year and this season in particular. I like them. I think, you know, again, I'm a big fan of simplistic. I'm a big fan of kind of letting the weapon speak for itself, so to speak. Not so much, you know, being covered by a bunch of different gaudy things, gold and rubies and stuff like that. That stuff is cool in moderation, but I do really like the more, I guess, like realistic, down-to-earth kind of weaponry that you'll see, you know, shown here. But again, it's a lot of silver, a lot of chrome stuff, and I really, really like it. Hopefully I'll be able to grind a bunch of these out. Also, Varangian made out like a fucking bandit here. Look at the quality of these weapons, guys. This is absolutely gorgeous and definitely the first one that I'm going to be grinding for sure. Then we got some battle outfits, ornaments, that kind of stuff.
But who cares about that?
We do have some cool effects here where you can basically cosplay as one of the original characters from the trailer if you want to go archaic samurai, archaic Viking, that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool to see. We also have a pretty neat execution here where you're basically catching a spear thrown at you from out of the air and just impaling the person with it. It's very, very quick, very fluid. I enjoy it. Also from the Legacy Pass, they're bringing back the little pet dragon as an effect, which is always cool. A little fire lizard boy. Also in the Legacy Pass, they're bringing back Danes, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that at all, but basically where the sword just materializes out of the ground and you swing it a bunch of times at them. And I believe that's going to be universal for everybody as well. And finally, we also get a whole bunch of signatures brought back for the original factions, but they're also bringing in a new one for the Outlanders called Demigaron's Bloodstone, I think is how it's said. Sick, I love it. My favorite color is red, so it's definitely, something I will be partaking in. Notice there's no Wulin, though. Still no Wulin. I guess they're just lost to time. And finally, we move on to those juicy, meaty, massive patch notes. I stand corrected. Long story short on these changes, they're just moving a few things around with Peacekeeper and also with Peacekeeper and Medjay. Basically with Peacekeeper, they're taking what they did with the testing grounds, removing the bash that they gave her, and kind of importing everything else. And then with Medjay, it looks like they're basically just importing everything that he had in the testing grounds. I don't really think we needed testing grounds for a lot of these changes. A lot of this could have just been implemented normally. I think it's fine. Medjay has been, top tier for over a year since he was released. I think he could take a back seat now for some other characters for sure. And PK getting a few buffs is nothing that I'm upset about. Last but not least, they went into a testing ground change that they're going to be doing when the next testing grounds will be coming out. I don't think that's coming out this title update. Maybe next title update. I have to go back and look it up again. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below for sure. But in those testing grounds, what they're essentially going to be trying to experiment with is hit stun. So hit stun, I'm not going to pretend to lecture you guys here for, several hours and pretend to be Freeze or someone that's much more knowledgeable with this kind of thing. But I have like a bare bones understanding of it where basically as you're hitting an enemy, they enter certain amounts of hit stun states. And then depending on how many times they get hit in that hit stun, they start to kind of gain damage reduction, they gain the hyper armor or the uninterruptible stance basically, and it kind of, the way the system is supposed to work is the more you get hit, the more defense that you're supposed to be gaining. What they seem to be experimenting with here in these testing grounds they're going to be doing is kind of making it so as we know, at this point in time, it doesn't always work out really well as far as like gaining revenge, getting the correct hits done. There's a lot of moves out there, like Orochi's kick, a bunch of different other bashes that a lot of different characters have that can kind of break those hit stun rules that they implemented in the game. And so there's no real point to those rules if you're going to be having multiple characters, not even one or two characters, but multitudes of characters that are literally just breaking the rules set in place by those same devs for hit stun properties. So essentially how I'm understanding it, again, somewhat bare bones here guys, so bear with me, but they're going to be trying to make it so that it makes it harder to pull off those types of like 100 to 0 ganks and whatnot. Hopefully, they keep the idea of being able to gank with your allies, because getting a lot of damage off of a cool combo with an ally or two allies is still really neat. I firmly believe that 100 to 0 should not ever exist in this game. They are very, very unfair to fight against, and there's literally no way out of them if it's a true 100 to 0, where you're basically taking all of your health and it goes kaput after several moves from different characters. But I definitely think that there needs to be a bit more of a balance struck here, and I'm very hopeful that this is kind of a really big step in that direction of being more balanced. Again, I don't want them to over-tune it. I don't want ganks to not exist. I do love having ganks in 4v4s and whatnot, but I definitely think it needs to be a little more evened out for sure. So I'm hopeful that they implement this correctly. We will have to stay tuned and see. Boom, bam, pow, that's it. We are done with this overview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, all those good YouTube things. And I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, stay turtly, stay awesome, and we will see you on the next one.